Welcome to the 7th/8th/2014 webinar series on how to submit an affiliated independent event, and thank you all for joining us. Eden, Junior Program Officer at the International AIDS Society, will now guide you through the online submission process. Please do allow all the participants to hear the presenter. Do not unmute yourself during the webinar. Your questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Eden?
Thank you, Tamara, for the introduction, and thank you for those of you who are joining the webinar today. So the goal of this presentation is to tell you a little bit about what an affiliated independent event is, how you and your organization can apply to become an affiliated event, and also to give a brief overview over the ways in which the Conference Secretariat promotes approved events. So what is an affiliated independent event? An affiliated independent event is an independently organized event officially affiliated with the conference to benefit from its momentum, exposure, and international audience. The event must reflect and support the objectives and values of the conference and address HIV/AIDS, co-infections, or issues faced by individuals or organizations responding to the epidemic. In the interest of time, I will not go into the details of the objectives and values here, but on this slide you can find clickable links so that you can familiarize yourself with these. An affiliated event is a supplement to the conference and should therefore take place outside of the conference venue and at times that do not interfere with the official conference program. And I will come back to this a bit more in detail shortly. Affiliated independent events often include symposia, workshops, receptions, as well as social and cultural events. They may be population or issue specific, and they can be either open to the public and or conference delegates, or they can be closed events with invitation only. On this slide, you can see a few examples of the events that have already been approved for AIDS 2014. At the top, you will find the AIDS Pride 2014 organized by VCare International. This is a recurring affiliated event that connects the locations of the international AIDS conferences by a group of people biking from city to city to raise awareness about HIV and AIDS. The second event is a cultural event that takes place in Melbourne and which highlights the difficulties people living with HIV still face in today's society. And finally, the 6th International Workshop on HIV Pediatrics is an annual pre-conference that brings together scientists from various fields to interchange and aims to cultivate better treatment strategies for infants and children. So as you can see, there's already a good mix of scientific and social events in the list online, and of course we hope that your event will soon be added to this list as well. Now let's move to the more practical part and look at the application process for the affiliated independent events. All applications must be submitted through your conference profile. If you have attended a previous IAS or International AIDS conference, you already have such a profile and you can continue using this one. If you don't have one, you will need to create a profile, and in order to do this, you can go to the AIDS 2014 website and click on Create a Conference Profile at the top left corner of the page. When you do this, a new window will appear. You go to the Create New Profile box in the middle, and you enter your email address and click on New. You will then be directed to a form where you're asked to fill in information, personal information. Once you've completed this form, click Save and Update to save your details. Now that you created your conference profile, you can navigate the tabs within your conference profile to access forms and information. If you need to change any details, you can do it at any time by clicking on User Details. Once you're logged into your conference profile, you will find the Affiliated Independent Events tab at the top of the page. You can then click on the link that says click here to apply for an affiliated independent event, and you will be directed to the application form. The application form starts with a brief explanation of the application process itself and the criteria for selection of affiliated independent events. After this, you will see that the personal information section has been automatically completed with the information you gave when you created your conference profile. Please make sure that this information is up to date. If you need to make any changes, you can scroll down to the bottom of the form, click back to profile, and update your information under the user details link. Please note that the person who applies for the affiliated independent event will automatically become the link between the AIDS 2014 Secretariat and the organizing group or organization. So it is recommended that the person who applies is also a key person in the organization of your event. After the personal details section, we ask you to provide basic contact details for your organization. Next is the event description section. Here you're asked to give us details about your planned event. First of all, you will need to select a category. If your event does not fall under any of the predefined categories, please select Other, and you can then specify your event in the box that appears under it. Next, you're asked to give your event a name and provide a short description of maximum 150 words. Please keep in mind that this name and the event description text will be displayed on the AIDS 2014 website and in other communication channels, so it is advisable to develop something that will attract the attention of the reader. This is your chance to market your event. The next three fields are not mandatory, but it is highly recommended to enter the event website and upload an event logo if this exists. The logo will make the listing online much more attractive and eye-catching, and a website will provide any interested participants with more information than what can be included in the 150-word blurb. After this, you are asked to specify the target audience, which basically tells us if this will be a closed or a public event. And next up is the number of expected attendees. We realize that sometimes this can be difficult to know in advance, but an estimation is absolutely fine here. Finally, you are asked to specify the event location. If you have not yet secured a venue for your event, it will suffice to provide us with the city and country of your event. Typically, affiliated events will take place in and around Melbourne, and we rarely approve events that take place outside the country where the conference is taking place. Please remember to update this information once you have it by re-entering your application form. On this slide, you can see the time slots where an affiliated independent event can take place. The reason why we do not allow affiliated events to take place during the conference is simply that these events should be an additional offering to the conference delegates and shouldn't compete with the conference program itself. These time slots can also be found on the AIDS 2014 website, as well in the application form for affiliated events. The last part of the application form is where you're asked to indicate the timing of your event. Please use the calendar to navigate to the correct day. Click on the event date and corresponding start time and drag the cursor to the end time. Then click OK in the pop-up window to confirm the selected time. If your event is reoccurring, you can create several boxes, one per occurrence. To delete the selected time, you can click on the red dot in the box and click OK on the pop-up window to confirm. If you try to schedule an event during the conference program hours, a pop-up like the one on this slide will appear. This is to prevent that you can apply for an affiliated event during the official program hours. Finally, you're asked to confirm that you've read the rules and guidelines. You also have the opportunity to add any additional information you feel is important for us to be aware of when we're reviewing your application. You will always receive feedback within 2 weeks, either requesting additional information or clarification, or approving or declining the application. Once an event has been approved, the provided information is automatically posted on the website. If you at any time wish to change it, you can do so by accessing the same application again through your conference profile. Please remember that submissions close 30th of June, and we will not accept any applications after this date. Before you submit your application, we ask you to please familiarize yourself with the rules and guidelines. On this slide, you can see some of the key points to take into consideration. The individual that submits the application should be or should plan to register for the conference. As previously mentioned, once an event is approved, the event information will automatically be published online. AIDS 2014 is not responsible for any costs incurred by the event organizer, not before or after the time of application. And all promotional materials should only be posted in the areas designated for this purpose. And then on this slide, you can see an overview of the different ways the Conference Secretariat will promote the approved affiliated event. We have a separate tab in the Program at a Glance for our online program for the affiliated independent events. And this program goes live at the end of May. We also advertise events in social media and, of course, also on the website. If you want more information, we invite you to have a look at the Affiliated Independent Events webpage, and we also suggest you have a look at the frequently asked questions before getting in touch with us. If you have any inquiries, please send them to affiliatedevents@aids2014.org, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope this has been useful.
Thank you, Idun. Any questions? You can use the chat or you can raise your hand.
Hello, can you hear me?
Another question, is there any cost to the
An affiliated event?
No, there are no costs connected to applying or being affiliated with the conference. The only cost would be what you incur for the event itself, your venue with them.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Lenny?
Yes, hello. I was wondering, because I'm holding a sex worker festival this year, and I'm wondering, do all the events need to be related to, it's basically a celebration of sex work and sex workers, but as the educators of HIV and STIs as well. So we have workshops as well as other events, and I'm wondering, do they all need to be related to AIDS?
No, the events can be population specific as well. So, I mean, it's difficult to say exactly. I haven't seen the full information on the events, but it sounds like you can definitely submit applications for that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good. So I think we can close here. Thank you very much again, Idun, for your presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I hope to then see you in Melbourne. Thank you again, and take care.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.